Gemini, you are represented by the King of Coins and the King of Cups. So this is Earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, and water energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or just the traits of this king. So there could be somebody that you're involved with that has this combination. Or again, just the traits of these kings are important. And because they're two, this is a powerful combination that speaks to agreements, contracts, something large scale, large sums of money. May be connected to some kind of purchase or real estate or business interest. And it's also about establishing some kind of relationship that affects you economically or emotionally. The King of Coins is very practical. This is somebody who is a family provider. They're a good business person. They tend to be very conservative, very traditional, and so they're not prone to investing in the pipe dream. This is about somebody who is carefully managing money. And so you may be involved in something or connected to a partner where large sums of money are important or play a central role in your relationship. And, you know, this is not the most expressive king, and keeping these concerns may eventually wear on his health. So if you are seeking to establish a family, then this is the king who is the safest bet. And the King of Cups is emotionally stable. He is supportive. He is furthering the interest of, the person he cares for. And so you may be playing that role of offering love, support, assistance, or you may be receiving that. It could also be getting some good counsel, some advice with regard to something. And there is strong desire to either impress someone or to save a situation or to defend yourself in some way or a circumstance. And again, there's a focus on security, and this King of Coins is a hard worker. He is, he wants to account for every penny, and he's expecting you to justify what you're doing, why you're doing it. He really wants to have a settled relationship, but he may play the field. And if he's married, sometimes he may act like he's single. He may flirt, but he is deeply committed. And the only thing is, the relationship is definitely, he's going to want it to be on his terms. And so you're going to have your own power if you are coming in contact with him. Now, negatively, this King of Coins can be problematic. He may have been rejected or scorned, and so, he may be acting out. Maybe he's lonely, or he resents having to spend money. He doesn't want to share, and his focus is on work, making money. He can be a workaholic or very focused on the material or the sensual, and he may be willing to bulldoze other people in order to get what he wants. So there could be some power struggles that directly tie to some kind of challenges concerning power or wealth or being materialistic or working a great deal. In the positive, he wants to settle down, and he's deeply emotional, and he's being very critical about who he connects to. He's selective about his romantic choices. He's not going to be with just anybody. And so for some of you, you may be taking that trait on. You may be very discriminating in your choice of partner. And for some of you, you may step out of your comfort zone. Maybe you're going to offer somebody a date, or you're going to accept one, or you're going to declare your love or offer that marriage proposal or receive it. And again, you're inclined to connect with people who share your similar lifestyle, outlook, goals, or ambitions. Now, negatively, maybe there are issues of control. Somebody's being too controlling, too critical, or too judgmental. Now, the King of Cups, again, is sensitive. He's caring. Maybe he's working in some kind of caretaking capacity, or maybe he does something artistic or creative or psychological. And he is, he enjoys intimacy. It doesn't have to necessarily be physical. He enjoys discussing his feelings, and he's in touch with those feelings. He's intuitive about your feelings as well. And so for some of you, meeting your needs is going to come naturally in whatever capacity, financial, emotional, sexual. So again, you could be playing that role, or somebody's playing it for you. Now, this King of Cups may be struggling to establish himself in some way. Maybe he has difficulty with practical matters or focusing on the material. Or maybe he makes a lot of emotional purchases. It's hard for him to say no to those that he cares about. Maybe he tends to spoil, the people that he loves. He's a good listener. He's very supportive. He's loyal to his mate, and he speaks the truth of his heart, if he's acting positively. Now, negatively, he can be unfaithful. Maybe he wants to establish a relationship, and yet he lacks the emotional maturity or the ability to be truly intimate with another person. And so he could be somebody who, again, is very critical and controlling. He's lifted you up. He's projected all of these ideals onto you. And then when you show your humanness or your vulnerability, he kicks that pedestal from up under you. And so, he may be very high-strung, emotionally oversensitive, or perhaps, there was an attempt to connect emotionally or on a sexual level, and now somebody's backtracking. There's a regret. It could even be somebody, one of you feels victimized in the relationship. Or again, there's been some insincerity. Somebody's just playing around, or they want to establish a relationship and they don't know how to do it. Now, this may be a period where you want to form a strong partnership. You have been coasting along, carrying the load by yourself, or feeling alone, whether you were actually single or in a relationship. And you're looking at what you feel for another person, how deeply you may care for that person. And the realization of some of those feelings may be taking you by surprise. You may not have realized until certain circumstances occurred how very much you cared for this person, and likely they feel the same about you. But if these kings are in any way acting out, you may find that you're in a connection that's complicated, that's unfulfilling, that's not rewarding, and you may have some difficulty with that. Now, this may be related to something illuminated through some message. So some of you may be sending some kind of message. It could be, a love message that's going to come in the form of an invitation or a letter or a text message, an email, perhaps a phone call. Maybe you're going to write a love letter, or you're going to send a card or express some kind of sentiment. Or perhaps, you may have decided that you found the right partner, you're establishing a relationship. Maybe you're going to send out some wedding announcements. So for some of you, though, again, you may be seeking some support system, and you're giving advice or getting that. You're trying to solve a problem. You're trying to initiate something. And you may realize that you need to take more of a leadership role with regard to something. So you could be getting some emotional messages or sending that out. It could be something related to some purchase or gift or property. Something is going to come to light. And again, it ties to some kind of powerful alliance, connection, or agreement. Now, the romance is characterized by the Emperor and the Three of Wands. So for some of you, there are some control issues. And again, security is at stake, your sense of belonging. You are trying to build a solid foundation to establish yourself in a connection. And for some of you, perhaps there's some work issues that weigh in on your romance. You may be traveling for work. You may be in negotiations concerning your job or your profession. Maybe you have to network with others, and that impacts your romance. But something may be, drawing your emotions to the surface. You're either at the beginning or the end of a stressful situation, and you are dealing with issues of power. Who has it? Who's using it? And is it being used properly? Now, again, this may tie to some entity that has influence over you. It could be the government, a large corporation, your work, a boss. Could be a father figure, your role as a father, your role as, the lead in the relationship, or you're being dominated or controlled by an aggressive or demanding partner. So you may be trying to control the dialogue, the discussions that take place between you and your partner, or vice versa. And your sense of belonging is going to be important. So you want to know where you stand. You're trying to get to the truth of a situation. Maybe it has to do with some kind of transaction or some form of negotiation. And you're particularly resourceful right now. You know how to say the right thing. You know how to adapt to deal with unforeseen circumstances. And so you are trying to establish yourself. You're putting your ideas out there. And for some of you, if you're single, maybe you're dating or networking, or you're seeing what's out there. You're putting something out there and waiting for a return to come back. And your eye is toward establishing something for the future, something that has stability and permanence to it, something that is solid and reliable. And so it's going to be especially important that you pay attention to the responsibilities and the obligations that are at hand in order to build the future that you seek with a partner. Because again, this could be a stressful period where you get angry. And, somebody's trying to be controlling, or they're not claiming their power, or there's an immaturity or an abuse of power. It may be the need for somebody to grow up, face the music, and deal with a circumstance. Because in some cases, you may be dealing with something that is unreliable or unpredictable. Maybe somebody lets you down emotionally, or something is canceled or postponed or delayed. So you are going to be very direct, and you're going to speak your truth. You're going to be very assertive. And maybe that wasn't you weren't initially deciding to take that approach, but something is happening where you are deciding to, put your cards out on the table, or your partner is doing that with you. And this may connect to confidence in a situation. Maybe you're confident in discussions or where you're headed with regard to something. You're taking control and you're confident that you can. This may be a very karmic situation. Maybe you're dealing with a soulmate or a karmic relationship. Or maybe you are connected romantically in order to learn some kind of karmic lesson or pay a debt. Or maybe, you're just involved in a situation where you're meant to evolve spiritually through an experience that you're having. So, this is going to affect your confidence somehow. Either way, you may feel a sense of success. You may be getting recognition from your partner, or you may be realizing that some karmic situations are evolving to teach you a lesson, and you need to have more self-appreciation and love. Now, why is this occurring?